Well, first of all, I think you've taken thinking like a monk too seriously. Um, Hey everyone, so I put up a post on Instagram asking for your questions around love and relationships. We got hundreds of emails and responses, so thank you so much. These are real people, real stories, real questions, and you're about to see how I help them think about how to navigate, guide, and even learn a ton from them as well. And I can't wait for you to watch.
Hello.
Hey, it's Jay.
Hi, Jay. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for giving me a call.
Of course, whom am I speaking to?
So my name is Lindell. I'm 31. I saw your post on your Instagram about love and relationships, and just kind of reflecting on my situation. I was like, why not send in some questions?
Awesome, tell me your question, I'm excited to answer it.
Yes, absolutely. So just as a background, I just recently started kind of navigating the dating world again. I did come from a rather abusive relationship, and I noticed that, I was allowing a lot of things to kind of happen and go on for quite an extended period of time too. And so I thought that was a really interesting thing to find. And as I was reflecting on these areas, that I think that I kind of need some growth on, I thought that really in a lot of my relationships, I found myself to be really overcommitting. And so my question being, I really enjoy helping my significant other in the relationship, but sometimes or at some point deeper in the relationship, I feel like I'm doing it from a place of worry. Like if I don't do more, they might leave me, or if I don't help him, who else will? Will he try to find someone else who can? So oftentimes I end up wearing multiple hats in the relationship, like girlfriend, best friend, therapist, mother, organizer. How do I help the person I'm with, but also honor myself in not overdoing?
That is such a self-aware and fantastic question. And I actually think I'm so glad that you asked that, because I think a lot of people watching or listening right now could probably relate to that exact question. And I think a lot of people do that. I think we overcompensate and we overdeliver and we overwhelm ourselves in order to seem useful and feel worthy to the other person. And I hope I heard it rightly. Like you're just starting to date again right now, right? Like you're just starting the process.
Yeah, exactly. And I came out of the relationship probably like a year and a half ago. So I really, thought it was really important, especially after the last relationship, to give myself quite a bit of time to just heal and, figure out A, what I'm looking for, and two, how can I not make some of those same
Yes.
mistakes that I feel like I keep finding myself in.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about that is actually making sure. I think people think of this time when they're single as like taking care of themselves and finding themselves again. But a big part of that is actually learning to value your worth and your power and who you are and how much you really have to offer in a relationship and how you already have that. So it's not like a relationship is going to help you understand whether you have enough to give or not. You already know what you have to give because you've spent this 1.5 years being satisfied, being by yourself, being strong on your own. And so now when you walk into a relationship, it's knowing your worth and knowing that you already have value to bring because you've done the work. Now, in a relationship, I think what we often forget is as well, and it's interesting you use that language, because in any relationship, we're either the parent, the child, or a partner. And so when we start behaving like a parent, we inform our partners to behave like a child. And often that's what ends up happening, is that as we try and play this parental role, they start acting more and more like children. And therefore we have to parent more and more and more. And then we overcompensate with overparenting. And the opposite is also true. If we act like a child, then our partner starts to act like a parent. And they feel overwhelmed and drained and burdened by having to run around us. And so the only way to try and really create a healthy relationship is to set a standard of being partners. And partners means we help each other out with our strengths Like their strengths help out our weaknesses, our strengths help out their weaknesses, but then we also help them build systems of support. We help them build what they need and not make us their need. And that's the challenge I think that we fall into is we think, well, we need to be useful and needed for everything. And actually the greatest gift you can do is help them set up what they need and then focus on your needs at the same time. So if you're needed for every single thing in their day and their life, then you'll never get the time for yourself. And the only way you'll make time for yourself is if you set them up, but you also realize they're a partner in this, you're equals in this. Like they're gonna have to find their own growth. They're gonna have to figure things out for themselves.
No, that sounds so great. And I think it makes a lot of sense because I feel like, as you're helping them with, because I'm such a great organizer, and I feel like that's one of my strengths, you want to be that useful person that they kind of keep coming to for those things. And naturally, why go elsewhere if I kind of have it all here, and you start to feel less valued in that way. But it's really quite the opposite. It's building those strengths up so they can kind of have them in themselves and you can kind of, it's not valuing you. It's, let me now spend that time on myself, and that's their way of showing that they value you is using, the tools that you help them with to, then strengthen themselves so that you don't have to be compensating as much.
Well, I think you're on absolutely the right path. I'm so grateful to talk to you. I genuinely feel like you're investing in all the right things. So keep going on that journey. And I'm so grateful to be a part of yours. So thank you so much. And it was so nice talking to you and all the best. Really excited for you.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm really loving your content, and I'm loving even the people that you are working with. It's truly inspiring. So really, thank you so much for your time, Jay. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hello. Hi,
Hey,
Jay.
hey, how's it going? Who's that?
I'm Maria. I'm calling from Italy.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you. It's so nice to connect with you. What's your question?
Well, my experience is that I've never been in a romantic relationship. I wanted to know what you think about it. I am 38, almost 39. So I think it's quite an extreme kind of experience of never having been in love. When I was younger, when I was in my in my 20s, I had the desire of being in a romantic relationship, but never had one. And then when I grew up, I just stopped thinking about it. I was so focused on my life. I was focused on studying first and then working and realizing my dreams and traveling the world. I just stopped thinking about a romantic relationship.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. I mean, I'm gonna ask a very simple question.
Yeah.
Are you happy? Is that out of choice?
At first, when I was like a teenager, when I was in my early 20s, and I saw that everyone around me was so naturally in romantic relationships, I also wanted it because I wanted to try it, of course, doing a couple stuff, traveling together, growing together. And then I just stopped needing it. So at the moment, I'm quite happy about it. I mean, I'm
You
in
seem
peace with
it.
myself with not being in a relationship. You always talk about going deep into ourselves. So I started thinking more about myself, and I started asking myself, why have I never been in a relationship? I'm in peace with myself, but at the same time, I'm questioning myself.
Well, first of all, I think you've taken thinking like a monk too seriously. But on a serious note, I honestly believe that there are so many constructs in society that make us feel like we have to do something or we should do something. What I'm saying is that just because you're not in love with someone else, that doesn't mean you shouldn't experience, feel, and create love every day in different ways, because love is a need. Love is who we are. Love is what we seek. But that doesn't have to be love with just one other person. And I think that that's often what's so limiting. So as long as you feel that you're developing love, giving love, feeling love, because the quality of our life is dependent on how much love we give and receive, I think then that's okay. You're allowed to not want to be in a relationship. You're allowed to not have a desire for that. You're allowed, and you should give yourself full permission to live a unique, less normal life. I mean, what is normal? What is expected? All of these things are just made up by someone. And so to me, I hope you feel a sense of relief. I hope you give yourself the space. And who knows, a year from now, you may feel differently, and that's okay too. So I think allowing ourselves to go with our intuition is a healthy thing. And ultimately, remembering that love is more important than being in love with one person. And so your priority becomes being loving, creating love and loving connections. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's very, very wise. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining me today. It was so nice meeting you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you. Take care.
It
Bye.
was a pleasure. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hi, Jay.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Who's that?
My name's Natalie.
Hey, Natalie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I just wanted to say thank you for considering my question and just thank you in general. I came across on purpose when I was at a really low point in my life. So you and I have spent many a days in the park together journaling.
Oh, thank you so much. That genuinely means so much to me. What's your question?
My partner and I have been kind of coming up on a time of big change and kind of a period of transition, so to speak. I'm generally a really anxious person to begin with, and these changes have kind of triggered my anxious attachment, and my partner has been responding by pushing me away. I was just wondering if you had any advice on how do I provide him the space he needs when I am an anxious person and we live together, and just how should I navigate this in general?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing this question with me. And I think that this happens so often in relationships where one person has needs and the other person, they're busy or they're, like you said, have a transition coming up. And so they're preoccupied with something and then we can't really fulfill each other's needs. I would really encourage you to develop a fantastic support system around you. And it's really interesting. We use the word support system, but we don't have a system of support, as in we don't create a system out of it. And what I would like you to do is I would like you to think about the different things you get anxious about and try and pick one person in your life who you think can support you for each one. So if there's something specific you get anxious about, who in your life, who is a friend, a family member, someone that you could connect with. And there isn't a deep issue in this relationship, but there is a sense of fatigue, and that fatigue will drastically reduce. So I really hope that helps, Natalie.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it a lot. That makes a lot of sense. I think I have been a little bit unfair to him and putting a lot of pressure on him. So.
And at the same time, it's not that you're putting pressure on him. That's not a bad thing. Like, of course you want to lean on the person you love. Of course you want to lean on. It's more a side of finding the right people for the right pieces of insight that you need at this time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Natalie.